Hello, athletes, and welcome to the USA Triathlon Draft Legal National Championships to be held in Sarasota-Bradenton, Florida on Saturday, October 13th. My name is Brian D'Amico. I will be the race director for the event. This event as a whole is a part of the Sarasota-Bradenton Triathlon Festival, which will feature Tri North American Mixed Team Relay National Championships, Elite Men and Women World Cup, as well as Elite Para World Cup as well. So the purpose of this pre-race webinar is to run through some top-line details. Additional information can be found at the event website by clicking on the Events tab in the National Championships. First and foremost, wanted to run through the schedule of events. Again, the main venue will be Nathan Benderson Park. On Friday, October 12th, age group draft legal packet pickup is mandatory, and that will be from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. It will be located directly behind the grandstands in the packet pickup and registration tent. We will have an age group swim course familiarization from 12:30 to 1:30 p.m. In the water at Nathan Benderson Park. Please make sure that you wear a swim cap during that event. This will be structured. There'll be on-water safety assets monitoring the water as well. A mandatory draft legal bike check-in will take place from 4 p.m. until 7 p.m. We will work from our end to try to get that set up prior so it coincides more directly in parallel with the age group draft legal packet pickup. And then lastly, the age group draft legal briefing, which is a mandatory briefing, will take place at 5:30 p.m. That will be in the briefing tent located on the venue as well. The venue is very concise, so everything is very easily accessible as you navigate throughout the venue, both prior to race day and on race days. Shifting to Saturday, October 13th, I'll run through the schedule. Again, more details, as I mentioned, on the first slide can be found on our website. Transition will open, and it will be open between 5:30 a.m. to 7:15 a.m. We will have a hard closure of transition at 7:15 prior to the race start at 7:30 a.m. Beginning at 7:30 a.m., Draft Legal Men Wave 1, ages 44 and under, will begin. 7:45, Men Wave 2, ages 45 and older. Wave 3, or Women's Wave 1, will begin at 9 o'clock a.m., ages 44 and under. And then beginning 15 minutes later, my apologies, that should say 9:15 a.m., will be Draft Legal Women Wave 2, ages 45 and older. At 12:15 will be a complete and full course closure, with age group draft legal award ceremonies taking place at the award stage, which is directly behind the grandstands. On Friday, October 12th, as I mentioned, at 5:30 p.m. will be that pre-race briefing. Both myself and the lead official will go through that briefing. We'll have a brief presentation for you as well, running through the course. Again, this will be behind the grandstands as well. For packet pickup, as I had mentioned, from between 1 to 6 on Friday, which is mandatory. You must have your photo ID and USAT membership card. For timing chip, you will not receive these in your packet. You will receive everything else in your packet, which I'll touch upon in the next slides. Your timing chip you will receive upon check-in to transition on race morning. Okay, for parking, so it's located in the grassy parking lot just to the southeast of the mall lot. So if you follow the green arrow here, this is where you'll need to enter parking. So you'll enter the northern part of this map around the roundabout. You'll come in through the mall parking lot, and then parking here, it's just a short walk over to the venue. Once you do walk over to the venue, as you cross Cattleman, that will get you to the main venue. Please just heed the direction and advice of the officer to get you safely across the road. If you are coming race morning, since your race is the first race of Saturday, just be aware there'll still be vehicular traffic on the two easternmost lanes. The two westernmost lanes will be completely closed to traffic. So just be aware as you're crossing the road. And then if you are coming back later in the day, there will be races throughout the entire day, both Saturday and Sunday as well. So for body marking and sticker placement, so this is your race bib. There'll be 2 tear tabs, both a t-shirt and a goodie bag tear tab. So you will receive that race bib, and that must be worn on the run for that run portion of the race. For bike sticker, so the red outline here is your bike sticker. As you take it off the adhesive, please make sure you're extremely careful when taking it off. This center part here sometimes has a tendency to tear off, so just be careful as you take that off. Wrap it around your seat post, and this must be on your seat post or on your top tube of the frame upon check-in to transition on Friday prior to racing on Saturday. You'll receive 2 helmet stickers, so these must be worn on your helmet. Additionally, all helmets must have a CPSC sticker adhered to those. So this is what your race decals will look like. So these are your 2 helmet stickers. Again, please make sure to place these on your helmets. And lastly, you receive a black bag drop label. So these can be stuck on the clear plastic bag that you receive upon check-in. Upon check-in to transition, there's absolutely no bags to be left in transition. So there will be a small bag check tent immediately to the west of transition where those bags can be dropped, and then they can be picked up after the race. Another option is obviously leaving those items at your car if you'd rather do that, or with a family, friend, or additional spectator. Lastly, please make sure you don't leave any unattended bags throughout the venue, as there'll be constant searches throughout the venue to ensure safety for all those at the event. For racking, so this is an example of your rack sticker will look like. This will not be included in your race packet. This will be done by our staff. So all athletes will have an assigned rack. You must rack at your assigned location, both to start the race and then coming in from the bike, and then throughout the subsequent entire race. Your front wheel should be down on the side that your number is visible on. So this outlines how that should be. So if you can see, and I know it's a little small, this is athlete number 492. They are racking by the seat post in the saddle, and then the front wheel is down on the number side that is facing to them. For bike equipment, again, no aero bars are permitted in draft legal racing. The bike frame should be a traditional pattern built around a closed frame with a straight or tapered tubular element, which may be either round, oval, flattened, teardrop shaped, or otherwise in cross section. Additionally, bikes built around a diamond shape, i.e. no saddle down tube, or with a rear triangle which is not connected to the top of the down tube or top tube section are considered acceptable. Running through the bike equipment, so we will start at the southwest corner of this. So this is new this year. Many of these are based off of ITU rules, so we can align most directly with them for those athletes that are racing in draft legal in the United States and those that will be qualifying for Worlds. So beginning this year, disc brakes are allowed, so you'll note that here in red. Only traditional drop style handlebars and brake levers are allowed. Clip-on aero bars are not allowed, and the ends of both handlebars must be securely capped with bar end plugs. As I had touched upon in a couple previous slides, the bike number sticker must be on the seat post or on the top tube of the frame for officiating and for accountability. And lastly, both wheels must be of the same diameter and must have a minimum of 12 spokes. Also important to note that disc wheels are not permitted. Wheels, as I had said, they must be 12 or more spokes, and wheels must be of the same diameter. Example is both our 650s or 700s, and again, no disc wheels are allowed. For your helmet, so these must all meet or exceed the safety standards of the Consumer Product Safety Commission, otherwise known as CPSC, and they must be clearly labeled by the manufacturer as satisfying such standards, including the stickers in place. If your helmet does not have a CPSC sticker, you will not be permitted to race. So again, just double check your helmet. Even if you have had your helmet for 5 years and it's become second nature, that you know your helmet is good, please make sure and double check that that sticker is still on your helmet. Chin straps must be snug, and aero helmets are not recommended. Lastly, upon check-in, once you check your bike in, officials will be present there as well for bike check-in. Please make sure that you have your helmet on and strapped, so officials may check that as well. For body marking, so all athletes will receive a quad set of temporary tattoos in their race packet. These should be placed on the outside of both biceps, as indicated by the picture in the northwest corner of this slide, and then on the outside of both calves as indicated as well. Timing chips, as I touched upon, will be handed out upon check-in into transition on race morning. There'll be one designated entry point into transition, so please make sure you heed the advice of our staff and volunteers to get checked in at that said location where officials will also be present. So once you queue in to check into TA on race morning, there'll be officials there helping our staff and volunteers, and then you will please make sure you receive that timing chip upon check-in as well. Those timing chips must be around the ankle, and upon completion of the race, you'll need to turn those timing chips into our staff and volunteers upon crossing the finish line. Swim caps will be distributed during packet pickup, so there are no stickers for the swim caps. So all of your race numbers will already be pre-written on the swim caps by our staff. You must wear your assigned swim cap for the race, and as I touched upon, those will be distributed during packet pickup. Bike check-in on Friday, so again, 4 to 7 p.m., which is a mandatory. Officials will review that equipment before entering TA upon check-in, and you should bring your bike, helmet on your head, uniform on your body, and then body marking on body to check in. Only athletes will be permitted to transition, and race essentials only. There will be no bags permitted into transition. Running through the venue as it relates to age group racing. So age group transition, as indicated by the number 8, will be where you are checking in and where you're operating of. The grandstands are located at number 6, which is here. The finish line is number 4. So as you can see, everything is very tight and concise. Award stage is directly behind the grandstand. Age group bag drop is just to the west. As you're looking at the map, or technically the south of age group transition, if you go by the compass, that's where age group bag drop will be. And then tents number 10 and 11 are both the information tent and volunteer tent, as well as the age group packet pickup and briefing tent. Aside from that, medical is located upon finishing the finish line, and then vendors and food trucks will be located as well in this large grassy area. In order to navigate the venue, if you look at the southeast corner of this map as you're looking at it, your parking will be in the bottom right-hand corner. This is where you'll cross over to the venue, and then there will be multiple spectator crossings throughout the venue as well. Running through the course map. So this is an overall picture of the map. Upon each subsequent slide that is to follow this one, I will run through each specific part. So this is just to kind of give you a flow of how things will work. Transition is located here, as I mentioned. So this shows your ins and outs, swim in, bike out, bike in, and then run out into the finish. It's a fairly compact, easy to do course. I would not say the course is overly technical, aside from the back part here once you're traveling on the bike portion of the course. So let me first touch on the swim. So the swim is a 1-lap, 750-meter course. We expect the water temperature to be in the low or mid-80s. So just be aware that it's almost 100% likely that it will be a non-wetsuit swim. It'll be a mass in-water start on the floating dock. So all athletes will be in the water with a hand on the dock. Once the horn sounds, you will begin your race. It will be a counterclockwise loop with the buoys on your left shoulder. So you must go around the orange buoys, so the turn buoys. There'll be support on water with boats and lifeguards and personal watercraft, and please be at the start 10 minutes prior to your wave starts. So detailing the swim course map. So as I mentioned, this will be the floating pontoon here. Once the gun starts, you'll continue on the swim, traveling north around the 3 sets of turn buoys. Again, you must go around these on your left shoulder, traveling back down around the final 3, and then the swim exit will be marked by 2 turn buoys, as well as a large vertical black roca arch. Upon exiting the swim, switching over to the western side of this map where the blow-up is, you'll go between those 2 and under the roca arch, a short run into TA before heading out on the bike. T1 in the bike course. So upon entering T1, your gear is on your bike behind the front wheel of bike. There will be no bins for this race. Your bike course is a 3-lap, approximately 18K course, which will be a counterclockwise course. It'll be a flat course with roads closed to vehicular traffic, and there will be no aid station on that course. Please note that the lap out rule will not be enforced, and athletes are responsible for counting their own laps. Athletes, just be aware you may not draft off the opposite gender, and your laps are completed on Cattleman Road. So as you're going from lap 1 to lap 2 and lap 2 to lap 3, you will not travel back through the venue. So that will be delineated by cones. As you approach that area, there will be a clear sign and a volunteer saying, stay left to transition, stay right to laps 2 and 3. So running through the bike course, I will start at the island detail. So the red arrow indicates the bike course. So you'll head out of transition, you'll travel up out the north bridge where you'll make a left on Cattleman Road. So at this area here, there'll be a merge lane. That will be for athletes continuing on to laps 2 and 3, and then athletes just starting lap 1. So you'll head out onto Cattleman Road. You'll follow the red dots around Cattleman Road, around the entire course on the back side of the lake. Once you do that, you're making a left-hand turn onto Cattleman. So you continue down Cattleman. Once you get to this location that I'm kind of circling with the green arrow on the east side of the map, and I'm going to switch over back to the blown up island detail. So at this location here, it says left to transition, keep straight for bike laps. So as you approach this, it will be centerline coned. There'll be signs of volunteers there as well saying stay left to transition, stay right to laps 2 and 3. So once you get here, as you're starting laps 2 and 3, you will stay to the right of those cones. As you continue between the north and south bridge, you will continue to stay right. So you will be down to 1 lane during this stretch before we merge you into athletes that are starting lap 1. Again, your responsibility to remember that you're doing 3 laps. We will have timing mats on course to ensure accountability and the athletes have completed all 3 of those said laps. Upon completion of your 3rd lap, you will stay left to transition. Again, it's your responsibility as an athlete to make sure you stay left upon completion of the 3rd lap. You'll come into the venue. You will dismount at approximately this location here where the green arrow is. It'll be a short run into TA before you head out onto the run. T2 in the run course. So upon entering T2, you are permitted to rack your bike in either direction with either both sides of the handlebar and brake levers or the saddle. And all used and unused equipment must be placed underneath your bike rack. Your run course is a 1-lap 5K out and back, so your outbound will be on the left side closest to the lake. It's on a paved pathway and will be delineated by cones. So there'll be 4 aid stations offering water and Gatorade endurance formula with volunteers on the course. The penalty box will be prior heading to the finish line and right after crossing the bridge back onto the island. Should you be issued a penalty, your race number will be written on a whiteboard under that USA Triathlon penalty tent. It's your responsibility to make sure you check that board. There will not be an official pulling you into the tent to serve the penalty during the draft legal race. So again, just make sure that you check that whiteboard to make sure your number is or isn't on there. And should it be on there, the official will then administer that penalty in the tent, and then will release you to complete the race once your penalty has been served. Running through the run course. So I will pick it up when you're dismounting from the bike on the red arrows. You're into transition, racking your bike, taking off all the necessary equipment, slipping on your run shoes. Once you slip on your run shoes, you will now be following the purple arrow. So you'll run across the blue carpet, through the elite transition, out, you'll hit your first aid station. Again, going out, you are closest to the lake. So you'll follow this path that will be delineated by cones. So again, following this purple purple dots here, you'll hit your second aid station, which is located closest to the lake, all the way down to the run turnaround. That'll be clearly marked. You'll hit your 3rd aid station, which will be between the bike course and the run course. And then you'll hit your 4th aid station, again, between the bike and run course. As you travel back down to the path to the venue, this location here in the blown up island detail, so this will be three-way traffic for this short period of time. As you're going out, you'll be on the sidewalk on the bridge. As you're coming inbound, it will be split between bike and run traffic. This is where you'll hit the penalty box. After immediately crossing the north bridge, you'll then take a right in the venue. And then as you approach this area, there'll be a sign that says stay right to the finish. Again, it's a 1-lap 5K out and back run course. Transition overview, again, mount and dismount lines will be clearly marked with those bike racks being individually numbered. Only athletes will be permitted in transition and only race essentials are allowed in transition. Absolutely no bags should be left in TA. At the finish line, there'll be water, medical support. All athletes will receive a finisher medal, and then those results will be provided after the finish line as well as those penalties, and actual times will be posted. So again, all penalties are actually served on course. So there should be no post-race penalties, and then all results are final just before the awards ceremony. The awards ceremony, as I've touched upon multiple times, will be at the park, directly behind the grandstands at 12:45 p.m. So age groups will begin with ages 15 through 19 and continue in those said 5-year increments through ages 85 to 89. Those awards were presented to the top 3 athletes in each age group as well as each gender. If you do have any questions, please feel free to shoot them over to the national events at usatriathlon.org or visit draftlegalrules.com. I highly, highly recommend that you visit the draftlegalrules.com website and review those specific rules for the draft legal style of racing. If you do have additional questions as it pertains to draft legal, please feel free to email our draft legal specialist and coordinator, Craig Hankin, at Craig, CRAIG.Hankin, HANKEN, at usatriathlon.org. So again, thank you to everyone for listening to this webinar. You can go back and listen through it multiple times. If you do have any questions, please feel free to shoot us an email. Safe travels, and I hope everyone has a great race in Sarasota.